What's up? Yo, what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix. We're back again. It's been a while since I made a video in this format, anyways. There's a lot to dive into, but this is going to be much more of a channeling with some astrology and just some general updates, if you will. But I trust that you guys are all having a wonderful start to the new calendar year, because we all know that the new year is really at the beginning of Aries season in March. That's when the true new year is. But Happy New Year anyways. I know I'm a little bit late. It's the 19th. Last day of Capricorn season. We're going into the middle of winter. And the sun's about to go into Aquarius here soon. Got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of things to talk about. What's your boy been up to? Well, I did graduate, finally. Yay. And updated my resume, updated my portfolio, and all that good stuff. And we'll see what the next step is. But right now, I'm kind of just cruising. And I think that's the way that we all have to do it. We have to kind of cruise through these moments right now. This is not a time to hit the brakes. This is not even a time to floor it. This is the time to surrender. This is a time to be vulnerable. This is peak Piscean at the end of the degrees energy. I have a lot of planets at the end of their respective signs. And like I said, this is not a time to floor it and hit the gas and try and get out of the fog as fast as we can. This is not a time to brake. This is a time to put it in cruise control. And let Jesus take the wheel, if you believe in Jesus. Let God take the wheel, if you will. Let your higher self take the wheel, right? That's where we are right now. And I know that there's a lot of things happening right now. I have no script for this. I don't do scripts for my videos. I've considered doing scripted videos, or at least have like an outline of what I'm going to talk about, but I'd much rather just do it off the top of the dome, because that's the way it just feels more authentic, it feels more raw, and that's the way that I do my videos. I channel the astrology and channel whatever spirit is talking to me about and coming to me about and coming forth from me. I like to just do it in this format. But it's been an interesting year so far, right? You have a lot of different things that are going on, especially geopolitical, economical, on a national level, on an international level. A lot of different things are going on. A lot of people talking, a lot of people providing their input, and I'm not really going to go deep into any like particular events and things that are going on right now, because I don't really feel the need to, because I don't think anybody has the answers right now, because we are stuck in this fog. So this video is going to be more so like an update, not necessarily like a weekly astrology horoscope, but just kind of like a let's look at what's going on right now. Let's look at some of the things that have been happening, and let's just see where we are potentially going. But that's the thing. I don't think anyone really knows where we're going, because we are in uncharted territory for this modern society, because we're about to experience a transit that we haven't experienced since like 4000 BC or something like that. Like, we're talking way back. So it's either 4,000, 2,000 BC. It's way back, right? We're about to get something we haven't experienced in millennia. And that's once this Saturn and Neptune comes into Aries and they conjunct at 0 Aries. The beginning of the zodiac, starting a whole new chapter for humanity and for this planet, for this earth, for this plane of existence. There's a lot of things that are going on. And that's why it feels tense, and that's why it feels like very pressurized. Because we are definitely in the pressure cooker of pressure cookers right now. Like, the pressure cooker is pressure cooking, if you know what I mean. And I've definitely been feeling this too. Anybody that has planets at the end of their respective signs, you're definitely feeling this, especially if you have anything at the end of Pisces, Taurus, I say Capricorn as well. You're probably feeling this the most, at least at this moment. Although a lot of this Capricorn energy is about to move out and go into Aquarius, so Aquarius will start to get blasted with that energy. But definitely Pisces energy, even Pisces, Aries, Taurus, I would say. Because you have Saturn and Neptune at the end of Pisces, you have Chiron here at the end of Aries. Well, it's in that final decan, still at 22 degrees, and then you have Uranus here at 27 Taurus. These are major aspects. These are major moments right now in all of our lives. I have my moon at 28 degrees of Pisces, so it's literally sandwiched between this Neptune and Saturn. So my soul has been getting like pounded and crushed. It's been so weird. I can't get enough sleep to save my life. I can't feel rested. Either I ebb and flow between feeling motivated and just going through the motions and just whatever. I, I fall into certain patterns that could be destructive, if you will, as we all have our destructive patterns. And then I have moments like today where I'm feeling much more on a high vibe, if you will. And I think this obsession, especially within the spiritual community, to maintain a high vibe and maintain the highest of vibrations all the time is kind of foolish. Nothing wrong with having a high vibe and everything like that, but I think it's foolish to try and always stay in that place. Because sometimes you have to go into the valleys, But yeah, I've been getting punched in the soul by this Neptune and this Saturn. It's been a lot, because I feel everything. That's the thing about Moon in Pisces is that, or Moon at the 12th, you feel everything. Like most of your emotions aren't even your own. Most of your emotions are like everyone else's around you. And also it stretches back timelines. This is also Saturn too. It's in the only sign that is beyond time. Every sign is kind of encapsulated within time to a degree. Aquarius just kind of has 1 foot in and 1 foot out the other because it's Uranus and Saturn. So Aquarius has the ability to jump timelines better than any other sign, except for maybe Pisces. But Pisces is outside of time. It doesn't even recognize it because it's ruled by Neptune. Right? So in Saturn, like I said, it rules Capricorn and Aquarius. But it's a co-rule of Aquarius because you have Uranus, which Uranus, in my belief, is a transporter. It's a portal. It's something that you can jump into and hop into. You can hop into it, and it's like a time machine, if you will. I consider Uranus to be a time machine. Even the way that the planet is, like it spins on its side, it looks like a portal. To me, it looks like a portal. And it's funny how we're constantly like looking for other beings out there and feel like we're not alone when we fail to realize that there are beings that do incarnate on these other planets, just in other dimensions, but they do incarnate on these planets in that space that the physical object that we see occupies, that there are beings there, but they just don't, they vibrate on a different frequency, so we can't perceive them, but they are there. Uranus is sort of like an airport. It's the airport of the solar system. Because you can hop in it and then you can travel to other parts of the galaxy in other timelines. That's what I've channeled. I've had that feeling and that intuition for a long time. I think I've mentioned it a few times. But that's what Uranus is. Where is it? It's in Taurus. It doesn't like to be in Taurus. Which means that it's hard to jump timelines right now because it's grounded. The airport is under construction right now. That's why it feels like we can't go anywhere. That's why it feels like it's so hard to escape. Because we can't get anywhere. We can't just hop in a plane and just travel to somewhere. We can. But that's why you're seeing a lot of weird things with planes and airports. That's why you're seeing a lot of different stories around them with plane crashes, which have happened. And also we just get news a lot faster now, of course. And so we're exposed to it a lot more, but it's why you're seeing more of these incidents with planes and airports. It's because it's grounded. We're not allowed to go anywhere right now. We need to stay here and ruminate and fix the issues that we have for so long not faced in our reality. Once Uranus goes into Gemini finally, then yeah, we'll be able to... And Uranus did go into Gemini, so we got kind of like a peek into what the future holds. But it went back into Taurus because it's like some planes took off, if you will, and they malfunctioned. And now it's like, oh, well, no, we got to ground the esoteric planes again. We can't actually leave. You're stuck in this country. You're stuck here. No, I don't want to deal with the crazy bullshit that's happening. You're stuck here. You got to face your issues. You got to face your values. And how can you connect with people that seemingly have alien values to you? That's what Uranus and Taurus is. It's about these values that may seem alien to us. How can you get along with these people? Can you get along with these people? And of course, you have this Neptune and Saturn at the end of Pisces, which has us all in a fog and a massive delusion. Hard to believe anything right now. Pisces does rule lies and deceit, right? It rules a lot of beautiful things, of course, but it also rules lies and deceit. And with these at the end of Pisces, if you don't think that you're not getting propagandized right now, I don't care what side of the political spectrum you are on or whatever, you're getting propagandized. No one knows what the fuck's going on. Including a majority of those people that are in power. The only people that probably know what's going on are the people that we do not know. There are people that we do not know that we don't know that control everything. The people that we think control these things, these actors, if you will, they don't even know what's going on. They've been promised something, but they don't even know what's going on. They're just taking orders from someone that none of us know. And that is the biggest conspiracy and the biggest lie that's being told to us right now. That we think we know who's controlling all this stuff and who we should direct our vitriol and hatred towards and plead with for some semblance of unity. And these people can't deliver because they're not the ones in control and power. They've just been given the illusion of it. We are stuck in a massive genjutsu, and if you're not a nerd, if you never watched Naruto, it's essentially an illusion. It's from Naruto. You can go back and watch the original Naruto series and everything like that, but that's where we are right now. We are stuck in a massive genjutsu, and I will show you essentially where we are when it comes to this genjutsu that we are in. This is where we are. We are in this right here. When Itachi had Kakashi up on the freaking cross, but this was an illusion. This wasn't real, but it felt real. The pain that he felt in this state was real. That's why it hurts so much right now, but it's more of a emotional and a mental and even a spiritual kind of pain that we're feeling right now. But it's all an illusion. But that's where we are as humanity, is that we are stuck in this massive genjutsu. And if you think that you're not in this illusion, that you're not stuck in this genjutsu, you're a fool. You are an absolute fool. I don't care how spiritual, how woke you think you are. You are in this genjutsu just like I am, just like your neighbor, just like your wife or your husband or your child or your colleague or your boss, even the president of the United States or any leaders of any of these countries. The bankers are all stuck in this genjutsu. Now, the positive thing is that the first couple of layers of this genjutsu is about to wear off. Now, notice I said first couple. We're still gonna be in the genjutsu for a while, in the full total, the whole genjutsu. But at least the intensity of the genjutsu is about to wear off in a big way. The first couple of layers is about to come off, which is going to be when Neptune and Saturn goes into Aries. And we'll start to feel a lot better, but we're still going to be stuck in it. We're layers deep in this dream. Remember, Pisces rules dreams. We are layers deep. If you think that just because Saturn and Neptune's going to go into Aries and everything's going to be better, which it will be better, but if you think that you're just going to wake up from the dream immediately, no. We still got to wait for Pluto to come into Pisces, and we're not going to get that for a while. Once Pluto comes into Pisces and starts transforming and destroying stuff and transforming the matrix, then we're going to fully wake out of the dream. But we have a while before then. Because remember, it's going to be in Aquarius for a while. And then it's got to go all the way through Pisces. And Pluto is in the slowest part of its orbit and in its progression around the zodiac. It's in the slowest part. So this is a long haul kind of deal. This is not something that's going to happen immediately. But like I said, if you think for a moment that you are not stuck in this genjutsu, then you're a fool. But if you are aware that you're in the genjutsu, and if you are aware that at least a lot of the intensity of this illusion is about to lift, then you could put yourself in a better position. You could put yourself in a much better position. Let's look at some of the actual like charts and stuff, because go to back to this Astro Gold and stuff. So, but yeah, so we're here. We're on the last day of Capricorn. It's at 2942. Of course, conjunct with Mercury and Mars here. Venus has now gone into Aquarius, getting ready to conjunct Pluto. It pretty much already is. It's almost at 3 degrees. We have that moon in Aquarius as well. But look at all this energy. So we have this moon, Mercury, Mars here at the end of Capricorn, which can give some motivation and can help us to grow and give us that little bit of a jump start that we need to start to climb this mountain. But this is going to be a long, arduous climb that you cannot do alone. That's the thing too. It's like, are you going to ostracize so many people to where you have to make this climb alone? But it is making a sextile over to this Neptune and Pisces. So there's an opportunity here, right? There's an opportunity to be like, you know what, maybe I am in the illusion and maybe I am stuck in this massive genjutsu and this hurts. These knives that I'm taking to the stomach, they hurt, but I know it's not real. But it seems so freaking real. And that's the thing, our ego can make us think that it is real, but it's not. It's not. We're doing it to ourselves. I think the first few layers that pops off of this thing is going to be the genjutsu, the illusion that we place on ourselves, that we can't be the thing that we want to be and grow into the person that we want to be. And by us growing into the people that we want to be, that we can connect to other people that are growing into the people that they want to be, we can create communities of this, and then that's how you enact true change in the world, right? So the sextile, yeah, it provides that opportunity, but man, it's sort of like, okay, yes, you can have that. You can be that person. But just know that that's just one step. And that there's always going to be more to come. Are you willing to take this journey? Are you going to go the short route and the easy route? You know what I'm saying? You're going to take the easy way out. And that's kind of where we are right now. It's a lot. I'm not even going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's a lot. That's why that's why it's so easy to kind of fall into these certain patterns that kind of help us to escape for a moment. And there is a beauty in that, and there's a truth in there, and there's a function in needing to escape from time to time. So we don't get so bogged down with a lot of the weight and pressure of things. But if you inundate yourself with those abstractions, then you will begin to stifle yourself from being able to really progress and move forward spiritually. So it requires some balance. It requires some balance. I think that's really what it comes down to. We don't have any Libra energy to bring the balance. And the ruler of it is Venus, and she's about to conjunct Pluto, the executioner. Right? So we have to fundamentally transform what balance even looks like. Especially when it comes to connecting with other people, connecting with our higher self, if you will, connecting with the genius that's within us. Aquarius, those real geniuses. But geniuses are often misunderstood. So we have to learn how to balance these things. One of my favorite songs is this song by Eden. It's called Gravity. And I love this song because it has multiple meanings. The song is really about two people that are in love, but the chick has to pretty much save herself, and he's just like, "Well, fine, you can go if you want to," and stuff, blah blah blah. But you like, we went for it and stuff like that. You told me to go for it, and then you just, it's a love story. But it took on a different meaning today when I was listening to it and I was singing it, because I love to karaoke that song in my spare time. And the meaning that I got was that when we were children, we all used to defy gravity. The gravity of adulthood, the gravity of being affected by these restrictions of you can't be that, you can't do that, be realistic. When as children we used to defy gravity. We would just be our authentic self. And yes, there is a level of, I guess you could say, decorum, or, there's a level of respect that we have to learn for other people, for elders, if you will, so we can mingle, within this society. But as far as the creative potential that we all carried when we were children, allowed us to defy gravity in a way that it is damn near impossible to do as an adult. We can slip into these moments from time to time. That's possible to recapture that magic, but it's a lot harder to do so, and you have to be very, very intentional about it. When you're a child, you do this automatically. That's why a lot of children have that dream about falling into their bed. They're astral projecting. But a lot of people stop astral projecting once they get older. I don't astral project that much anymore. I mean, I used to do it all the time when I was younger. I know how to activate it. But how many of you guys did have that dream of like you're falling into your bed? Like that's what you saw and then you woke up. That wasn't a dream. You were astral projecting, right? You were weightless. So children are weightless in many ways with their creative potential. But as we get older, we're afflicted upon by society, and a lot of that gets beaten out of us, and our wings get clipped. We used to defy gravity, right? And even birds have to come down. They can't fly forever unless you're an albatross and you can fly for miles and miles and miles, and even sleep in the air because you just have that adaptation. Look it up. Albatrosses are crazy. Like they can fly for miles and miles and miles, and they can sleep in the air. It's crazy. But that's what we used to do as children. We used to defy gravity. And those are some of the last lines of the song where he says, I used to defy gravity. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, damn, we as children used to do that. But there's something that kind of pulls us in. It's like crabs in a bucket. It pulls us in. It's like, no, be like us, Don't go for what's in your heart. Don't chase your dreams. You're a dreamer. You're naive. Don't do that. Be realistic. Now it's about learning how can we recapture that magic and be more intentional about that, if you will, and integrate that more into our daily reality. But of course, as adults, when you get older, yeah, you can't just slip into that energy all the time. Kids are in it 24/7 until some point it gets knocked out of them somehow. And some kids, it gets knocked out earlier than others based off of their upbringing and the different trials and tribulations and circumstances that they have to face. But we used to defy gravity, not so much anymore. So how can we learn how to do that? And not like literally defy gravity, but you know what I mean, metaphorically. I shouldn't have to say that, but but that's where we are right now. So how can we balance these different things? It is tough right now. I'm not gonna lie. With this energy right here, this Saturn, Neptune at the end of Pisces, yeah, we are stuck in a massive illusion fog, genjutsu. And the best thing to do, ironically, is not necessarily to stop and ask for directions, because you already have the map in your heart. That's the other thing about it, is that that's the biggest part of the illusion, is that they're telling you you don't have the map in your heart, but you do have the map in your heart. You were born with that map, and you've always had access to it. You've always have access to it. And it's never too late to pull that sucker out and be like, oh, this is the way I need to go. But it requires some vulnerability, and you, like I said, you can't floor it. This is not a time to hit the gas and just fly. It's not the time to do that, and it's not the time to stop either. It's the time to put it in cruise control and flow with it. Like I said, at least the first little bit of this genjutsu, this illusion, if you will, the first couple layers of this dream, they're about to lift, but they're not going to fully lift, like I said, until Pluto comes into Pisces. But we're getting closer to, at least, okay, I didn't mean for it to do that, but I guess that's okay. See, it played like fast, so you'll see that moon is going to cross over this Saturn Neptune here in just a few days. And then it's going to cross over this Chiron. And then before the moon even crosses over Uranus, Neptune will have moved into Aries on the 26th. So we literally have a week until the first layer of this veil gets lifted, because Neptune's not going to retrograde back into Pisces. So that first layer is going to lift. And this is the ruler of Pisces too. That's finally going to lift, right? Being disposited by this Mars that's now in Aquarius conjuncting Pluto with the sun here as well. And the sun has a pretty big orb. It's at 6, so it's not conjunct to that, but it's a pretty big orb. And then you have Mercury and Venus also conjuncting here as well. The ruler of Aquarius is Uranus here. It's still retrograde. But Uranus is suddenly going to have a much bigger picture. I think this is going to be one of those moments where we realize that, okay, the flights aren't delayed anymore. They're starting to get scheduled. We have a timeline and an outlook on when the metaphorical cosmic airport, esoteric airport is going to be up and running again. Not quite just yet, right? But at least we're going to get the timeline of it. And that first little layer is going to come off, right? And then, of course, that moon's going to keep coming around. We'll have the full moon that's going to be happening here at 12 degrees on February 1st of Leo. It's going to be a big moment. Of course, with Mars here too. Mercury and Venus are still going to be here at 19 and 20 degrees of Aquarius respectively. So they're going to be still in that nice little 1 degree orb, almost 2 degrees actually at this point. But then we'll see Saturn, of course, hit that 29th degree. It's going to hit that 29th degree here on February 4th. While the moon opposes it, mind you. And this is going to be a massive test. That we still don't hit the gas and floor it. Because Neptune going into Aries is going to give us the illusion that now that part of the fog is lifted, that we can just hit the gas and go. But this full moon's gonna be like, hold up, wait a minute, we still have Saturn here. If you hit the gas and try and floor it right now, not that you can't make changes and make moves and set things up, not that you can't act or do things, but if you hit the gas, you're going to freaking blow your engine. You'll have like a crack in your engine. You'll blow a gasket or something. Something's going to happen. Like your brakes won't work. That's the other thing too. Like if you floor it, your brakes they're not going to work, and then you're going to have to figure out a way to slow down without your brakes. You're going to pop a tire or something like that. Esoterically, we got to wait until Saturn comes into Aries before we can really pick up speed again and not be in cruise control. When's that going to happen? Well, that moon is going to come all the way around. And then it's going to be February 14th. Really, February 13th is when it's going to happen. To move this forward by an hour or so. Keep moving it. And then bam. We want to see Saturn come into Aries here on February 13th. It's a Friday at 7:49 p.m. 00. While that moon is at 14 degrees of Capricorn, beginning to oppose Jupiter, right? While we have a you know, this Venus is going to be in Pisces. The sun will be starting to finish up in Aquarius. And then this is when, and then by this time, of course, Uranus will also be coming direct as well. So this is going to be the moment where we can kind of pick up speed, and the first few layers of this illusion will start to wear off. But, of course, as soon as those planets leave, we get Mercury and Venus coming in as well. So this is going to be more of like a transpersonal and maybe like larger scale, if you will, is when some of the illusion comes off. But then once this Mercury and Venus comes through the space, it's going to be more on a personal level, right? So we'll still have some time. But we'll see them fully conjunct here pretty much as the moon is crossing over them at 0 degrees. So you see how insane that is, guys? Can you tell me when the last time you saw Saturn, Moon, Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries conjunct in such a tight orb? Can you tell me when the last time that happened? It's been a long time. So we are stepping into very uncharted territory with this energy. That's why I keep saying to have grace on yourself. That's why I made that video, Grace. Because how can you be expected to know exactly how to move when you're in uncharted territory? I mean, your ego is going to tell you that if you're not doing this, you're not doing that, that you're wrong, that you're a failure, that you're not going to make it anywhere. But no one fucking knows where this thing is going. We're still in the genjutsu, right? It's like the biggest layers of it come off, but then Mercury comes in, so there's going to be some sort of communication where we have to think back to what happened on those deeper levels. And then Venus is a person, right, that comes up. It's like, I thought you were on the lower levels. Like, oh no, I'm here too. I thought I was rid of you on that lower level. It's like, nah, I'm here too. Ah, great. And this is the lesson I'm here to bring. Ah, fantastic. At least Venus likes to be in Pisces, right? Mercury doesn't like to be in Pisces. So talk about spiritual trivia. Talk about like a spiritual riddle that we have to solve right after that veil lifts. All right, what did you learn? Oh, this is some kind of riddle. What's going on here? A spiritual riddle is what that is. And Venus is kind of the one that's like the person, and Mercury's like the question. So what's going on here, right? But like I said, until Pluto hits Neptune is when the veil really starts to break down, even in a more physical kind of way. That's why at least we're getting this nice little reprieve for the next however long. I think, Pluto's going to be here until the 2040s, right? It's going to be here for a while. We're not going to see it come into Pisces until freaking, 2043? That's what it's looking like. Yeah, 2043. This is when Pluto will come in, right? So we got a while. We got 17 years. And ironically, the North Node will be in Aries, getting ready to come back into Pisces, right? So we got to go through a whole nodal transit before we see this Pluto come in and then start to lift the veil and the genjutsu in a bit of a physical way. At least when this first part of the illusion wears off, we're still going to be in the illusion, but we're not going to be getting stabbed in the freaking stomach like Kakashi was by Itachi. At least we're not going to be in that. But life will feel a little bit more like a video game. That's for sure. But at least we're not going to be getting stabbed and tortured, if you will. So that's the good thing about it. That's my prediction anyways. But then some of the physical aspects of this matrix will start to crumble. And that's going to be weird. So that's why I said, use this next 17 years to prepare for that. Use this next 17 years to create the platform to jumpstart you into this next stage that humanity is about to go into. We're not there yet. We're getting there, And in the grand scope of time and humanity, it's tomorrow. In the grand scope of like time and as far as like everything like that, it's here. It's right there. We have our hand on the door. We have our hand on the doorknob, turning it, getting ready to open this bitch. And the next 17 years is us kind of opening the door, and then all of the things that are inside of there, all of the music, all of the lights, just going to be like, do that to us. We're going to be like, holy crap. It's going to be like, it's like we're opening up the door, and it's going to be like a wind and a zephyr and a hurricane just hitting us, and our hair's going to fly back, and we're going to be like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. That's where we are right now. It's going to feel long to us because for us, time moves. It's moving faster, but it's kind of moving slower. But in the grand scheme of things, it's right there. The evolution is right there. We are right on the doorstep. We are right on the precipice of it. So don't waste this. But also, like I said, also have some grace on yourself, beloved. Have some grace on yourself. We're all on the pressure cooker. The people that you love, the people that you hate, the people that you are indifferent from. We're all on the pressure cooker, and we're all stuck in this genjutsu in some way. We're all torturing ourselves in some way. Even the people that you hate. And I'm not saying that should give, and I'm not saying that should give you the least to just become friends with everybody. No, it's like there are certain people that you vibe with more than others. But we do have to learn how, we do need to learn how to get together, like get better along with each other as humanity. Because until then, we're not going to be able to leave this place. We're not going to be able to explore the cosmos like we really want to. We're not going to be allowed to until we figure out our shit. Because if we take this shit out there, we would get wiped out so fast. Like a virus that just needs to get exterminated. But we're here to figure out our stuff, to figure out our shit, to work through our karma, to work through these timelines, and to become better people, to become a better species, if you will, and to really care for and foster this planet and this place that we have incarnated on, and to become good stewards of this place that we have been gifted. It seems like hell. I get it. It seems like hell, but it's actually there's so many beautiful things about life in reality. It's so beautiful. It can be so beautiful. It can be so magnanimous. It can be so marvelous. It can be so just like amazing. It can be. It can be so blissful. It can be. And we've all experienced moments like that. Maybe I'm naive for thinking that we can get there as a whole, as on a world global level. But I think it just starts with you. It starts with the individual. And maybe it's because I've lived in societies and past lives where it was like that. And I think we're trying to get back to that in a way. But maybe it's not getting back to it. It's about making the new one, creating the new one. We're so obsessed with the past, paradises that we've created. And we're so consumed with the past golden ages that we've created. We're completely missing the ball about creating a new one. Like I said, maybe this is just the Sagittarian naive aspect of me. I also have a Pisces moon, like I said, in 12th, so in the 4th, excuse me. Scorpio sun in 12th. But yeah, so maybe I'm a little bit naive when it comes to that stuff. But it starts with the individual. That's the thing, is like you don't stop focusing on the big world, huge, big picture. Because a lot of that stuff you can't change, you can't fix that. At least in your current state right now, you can't fix a lot of that stuff. But what can you do personally right now is really what's important. So, that's what I got for you guys. I'm not going to necessarily ramble any longer because I feel like the message is kind of clear. Have grace on yourself. We're all stuck in this genjutsu illusion. At the very least, the first few layers of this dream is about to wear off. And we can feel a little bit lighter and not as weighed down. That doesn't mean that we're not going to still be stuck in it to a certain degree. But it does that mean that we'll have a little bit more liberty and freedom to move about the cabin, if you will. You know, we're getting there. We're getting there. So hold on. Put it in cruise control. Don't floor it. Don't break. Trust the process. And we're good. You know, meditate, exercise, eat healthy, but also enjoy life. Eat the foods that you love. Hang out with people that you love, right? Do your best to have compassion. Forgive. Doesn't necessarily mean that you have to become buddies with the people that you forgive if they've wronged you, but forgive. You know, have compassion. Eat good food. Listen to good music. Dance like no one is fucking watching. And have yourself a amazing, blessed, fantastic day. All right? I'll see y'all next time. Peace.